Hello everyone and welcome. If you're new here, my name is Mari and I'm gardening Queens, New York City. And today I'm starting my tomato seeds for the 2024 growing season. I like to start my tomato seeds inside. I have a grow light set up and then I transplant them out around mid-May when the weather finally starts to warm up. Our last frost date here in New York City is supposed to be April 1st, but I think it's still a little bit too cold for us to plant tomatoes outside. I like to wait till the night temperatures are around in the 50s. I have a backyard and also a plot garden where I have a little bit more space. The tomatoes that I'm starting here are going to be for both, so I decided to grow my indeterminate tomatoes, the bigger ones, at the plot this year, and then in my backyard I'm growing my smaller cherry tomatoes in containers. This is going to be my 4th year gardening here at this location, and my absolutely favorite tomato to grow is the Cherokee Purple. I know there's tons of different interesting varieties in there, but for me still over the years I really love the flavor of this one. I love the deeper, rich, like smoky flavor from this. It's my personal taste. I prefer that in the super sweet fruits. The second one is orange jazz tomato, and then I have the striped German tomato, which is a yellow tomato with a bit of red in the middle, but it's very tasty, so I like to grow this as well. The Amish paste tomato, this is one that's going to be great for sauces. I haven't had luck growing this very much the past years, but I'm trying again because they're kind of prone to blossom and rot, but I really want to have tomatoes to make sauce, so I'm going to give it a try and see if I can manage that better this year. And then for another paste I have this Midnight Roma tomato from Row 7 Seeds, and then I have some fancy seeds that I got the year before. I didn't want to plant them all last year, but I decided to go ahead and plant them this year to see how it goes. I have heard very good things about it. They're very pretty, colorful tomatoes. So this one's going to be the Sergeant Pepper tomato. I'll put a picture on the screen since this one doesn't have a picture. And then the next one's going to be the Persuasion tomato. I also have this third one here that it's new to the addition to the garden plan actually. This was Pascal de Picardie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. And then for the cherry tomatoes I have the Sweet Aperitif, which is supposed to be a very good prolific one and is red. Then I have one that I actually got seeds from a friend that I went to his homestead in North Carolina and loved. These tomatoes are my favorite ones, so he was generous enough to let me bring seeds home with me. But it was a variety that had just started growing in his garden for a while. He said that, had a plant that sprouted and had probably been mixed up with other things. So it's a small black cherry tomato that we're calling the Smoky Mountain tomato. It could be a black cherry, but he's not sure. He bought the starts at a nursery and then it just has been growing his homestead ever since. And I was supposed to grow some sun gold tomatoes, but I also ran out of seeds, so I am replacing those with a purple yellow cherry tomato that I grew in my garden in 2020 and I saved seeds from, and I'm going to try to plant the seeds out and see what's going to happen. And I have one extra tomato that I was also not planning to plant. It's called a Purple Heart, which is from the Dwarf Tomato Project. I have helped start a garden club here in New York City, Kitchen Garden Club, and someone there mentioned that she wanted to grow some dwarf tomatoes in her green stock, so I'm deciding to add one dwarf tomato to my green stock too so it can grow along. And I have grown these before. They are semi-indeterminate. They got a bit too big for a dwarf tomato, but let's give it a try again and see how it goes. I'm excited to go over this again this year, and it's going to be added to my green stock with peppers, which I have talked about in a previous video. And with the tomatoes I also want to plant a few things to help with pest control and add some diversity to the garden. And some of the things that I'm planting today are very good companion planting for tomatoes. So I'm also planting some dark purple opal basil, some French marigold. This is dwarf variety, so it's a small one, which from what I've learned is better for pest control, the smaller ones. And then I'm also going to plant some dill. And I had some space on my tray that I have prepared already here, so I had a little extra seedling tray that I had already put soil in, so I decided that I'm also going to start this gourmet lettuce blend for my new green stock. So I have already set up my tray to start those seeds. I only needed this much space for the varieties that I'm growing this year. The first thing that I like to do after filling them all up, it's I'm going to just get the back of a pencil and make some holes into the soil. Tomatoes can be planted about 1/8 of an inch deep, so we don't want to do it too deep. And I'm going to do the same thing for these ones over here. This is where I'm going to plant the herbs and the flowers, and here's for the lettuce. Lettuce likes to be slightly surface sown, so this one I'm going to just lightly poke something in the middle. Okay, so now the process is very simple. I'm just going to go around and add all of the seeds. I like to do all of the things at once, so I poke all the holes at once and add all the seeds at one go, then I go back around and cover them instead of just getting my hands dirty in the soil every time I open the seed pack. So I'm going to sow 2 seeds per hole here for those tomatoes. So the first one is the Cherokee Purple. I'm going to just grab the seeds and just add to the hole there too, just to ensure germination. And if I do have extra seedlings, I can separate them. Those seeds here, I got 5 that fell into my hand, so I'm just gonna do 2 and 3 in here just in case. And then I will go around and do the same thing with all of the other ones. For the basil seedlings, I kind of changed my mind. I decided to add more than 2 seeds, as you saw there, probably. And there's a few sprouts I'm just going to separate and use it in different parts of the garden. Now this is my first time growing dill. I never grew dill before. This one says to also be 1/8 to 1/4 inch deep. I know dill is also a cool season herb, but I didn't have a chance to start before, so we're gonna start now and see how it's going to do in the garden. Well, those are big seeds. They're in the carrot family. So I'm just gonna do extra since I never grew this before. Not sure how easy they are to germinate, so I'm just gonna do 4 seeds or more per hole, and then I can always separate them after if I get multiple seedlings. For the marigold, I actually didn't have a lot of luck with my last sowing of marigold. None of them came up yet, but they were very old seeds. So I got these new seeds and I hope that they will do a little better. In the past, they have been extremely easy to germinate for me, so I was a little surprised, but we're gonna try again. I'm gonna add maybe 3 each seeds. They have very interesting long seeds, and I'm gonna read again on the depth on them. Maybe that's what I got it wrong. It says 1/4 inch deep, so I'm gonna come around back here and add some extra soil on top. I'm hoping for the best for these guys. And then I'll do this whole thing here of lettuce. Don't want to cover them very much. So this is a blend, so I'm hoping that we'll have different colors. And it says to do 1/4 inch deep also, so let's do that. I usually surface sow my lettuce, but I will try to follow the seed pack in here and see what happens. Yeah, they have different color seeds here, black and white, so it's definitely a blend. I will grow this much that fell in my hand here. The few that fell here, so I'm gonna throw a few seeds per cell, and if I have extra again, I can now separate and give them away or replant in some of my other green stalks. But that's it. Now I'm gonna go around again and I'm going to cover all of this, and I'm going to water with this spray bottle. Actually, you know what, I'm gonna add a little bit more soil, because now that I am covering them, I think not on all of them, some of the cells are kind of going down a little bit more than I wanted. So after I can't see how much that one went down, this one. So after I kind of push them all in, I'm gonna try to just add a fresh layer of soil. And today I'm using the Vermont compost potting soil. I forgot to say that in the beginning of the video. So I'm just gonna go around and add some fresh soil on top to help covering it up. For my experience, tomatoes are not very finicky germinating. Hopefully I'll still have the same luck with them this year as I had with years before, but they're supposed to be actually easy, beginner-friendly garden plants. And the reward is so amazing because homegrown tomatoes are so delicious compared to the ones that we actually find in the grocery store. So hopefully they would do good for us this year. Last year they didn't do very well because I was gone for a while, but this year I'm very hopeful that we'll have delicious tomatoes to eat again this summer. So that's it, mostly just a light cover of fresh potting soil, and I'm going to then now water them. I have already put water on the bottom to help getting the soil moist before I started this video, because I had to water the ones behind So I'm just going to come with a spray bottle, which is just water, and water at the top. That will help keeping those seeds moist and help with germination. So I'll probably do this every day until they sprout. I like to really make sure the surface is well watered before they come up, so they have the best chance to sprout as they can. So I always like to do that. And I prefer to do it with a spray bottle than a regular watering can, because I don't want to misplace the seeds. Sometimes when I pour water, it runs out. The seeds could run to the side, or it could be a bit too aggressive, move the soil too much. So the spray bottle for me kind of keeps things in place, and I have had great success with it. So it's a method that I have been using for a little while now. So now I usually put a humidity dome on top of my seedlings, but I am not going to do this with this batch because I have these bigger plants growing here in the back. But if you are growing a whole tray of tomatoes, I definitely recommend that you put the humidity dome. In a few days, I might pot these guys to a bigger container and then might start some new seeds. And if they haven't come up yet, I'll just add the humidity dome to it. Not a big deal to me. But if you're new to seed starting, I recommend that you put the humidity dome in there, because it will help keeping that surface moist and be a bit more forgiving if you forget to spray some water in one of the days. So just one more thing I want to talk real quick. It's about my microgreens. I'm going to water them real quick. They're by my window. It's time to harvest. But on one of my past seed starting videos, I started this microgreens too. And here's a little update if you have watched that. I am now using this tray. It was a humidity dome before, but now that I am watering a bit more, I'm using it to catch water here below. But it's definitely time to get harvested. So I'll probably do that later tonight. But super excited for these tomato seeds that I started today. I really hope that they do really well this year. And if you want to see how they're gonna do and get some more updates here from my New York City urban garden, please make sure to subscribe. That would be very helpful. And also like this video if you learned something new or if you enjoyed the content. It really does help a lot with small creators like me, so I really appreciate that. And if you're curious to see about the other seeds that I have started this season, I'm gonna link a seed starting playlist here that you can check out next. Thank you so much for watching today again. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.